Well, indeed, we are switching gears to the political season. Just yesterday, the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress issued a statement asking or saying that nothing must happen to the presidential candidate of the NDC, that's the National Democratic Party, Mr. Peter Obi, and also calling for the unconditional release of Malam Nasir El Rufai. Well, in the statement which he released, he says that the true measure of any democracy is not how comfortably those in power wield authority, but how safely those outside power can exercise their constitutional rights. This clearly, was a message to bring home to the government the importance of the safety of another presidential candidate. He says injustice to one is injustice to all. But we're wondering what exactly would have necessitated this. Is it a banter that has now been taken out of context? Are there real threats that other opposition members feel as well? Joining us to discuss this is Mr. Kalu, who is a legal practitioner and also a chieftain of the African Democratic Congress. Thank you once more for coming on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you for having me this morning.
Well, this is what we have now seen from the candidate of the African Democratic Congress, the leader, the presidential candidate of your party. And there'll be questions as to, has he in any way too felt any constraint in terms of being able to exercise his constitutional right as the presidential candidate of your party?
Well, just like you said, an injustice to one is an injustice to all. This is a government that is not comfortable with the opposition leaders. Today, Malam Rufai is in detention for a bailable offense offense. Today, Mr. Peter Obi is raising some concerns about his life. You don't wait until he gets to you before you cry out, so that the Nigerian people will know that this government will stop at nothing to decimate the opposition leaders. It is unfortunate that the judiciary and a very noble profession, a noble institution, is now seen as a tool for political persecution. Before now, what we used to know or see in Nigeria is the security agencies being used or being deployed by those in power to witch hunt the opposition political leaders. But today, it is now the courts. Why did I say so? The law is very clear that any man or an accused person or a suspect that is arraigned in court on a bailable offense is entitled to bail. It is his constitutional right. Once it is bailable, it is his constitutional right under Section 35 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
He's been granted bail, isn't that correct?
Yes. You know, when you grant or when you impose stringent conditions for bail, it is the same thing as denying bail. This is what the Court of Appeal held in the case of Ojuroha versus IGP, reported in 2009, 3 Nigeria Weekly Report, Part 1128, that when a court attaches stringent bail condition, it is the same thing as denying the person bail. So today, can we in Nigeria say that Malam Rufai has been granted bail? They gave him bail in one breath, and in another breath, they took the bail from him. Their conditions are meant to secure the appearance of the accused person to come back to court to face trial.
So there are two things here. I think we can, trace the history in terms of how this entire conversation started. Mr. Peter Obi went on an interview program on an interview podcast where he expressed fears that he might not even be alive to face the 2027 elections. And he gave instances of how people are being harassed. People are unwilling to be seen with him in public. Some people have even begged him not to attend their events, according to them, because they fear victimization. Some others, the concrete instance in which he cited in this instance was saying that he went to the airport and the tires of his vehicle were clamped. Apart from these examples which he cited about people saying, please do not come to our event, or we are afraid of being victimized, etc., it doesn't appear that anything else has happened that could necessitate us saying that really. He's well within his right to feel threatened, but we also do know that within political parties, especially during the time of elections, there are also narratives that political parties deploy, at least to show that they are the underdogs in this particular fight. Is there anything that you can point to, being a member of the ADC, that you would say that the ruling party has done to ensure in a brazen manner that the land or the ground is an unfair playing field for politics as we go into 2027?
He's everywhere.
I'd like you to cite a few.
Yes, I will. The governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Ukobelo, threatened Peter Obi that his safety is not guaranteed in Edo State. What does it mean? That if you come to Edo State, I'll kill you.
That's how you interpret it.
That's the way. Your safety is not guaranteed.
But he's since been to Edo State after that.
So, you said I should give instance.
Okay.
How can a sitting governor threaten a Nigerian citizen that if you come to my state, that I cannot guarantee your safety? When the primary purpose of your being elected as the governor of the state is to protect lives and property, okay, and you came out and said, I will not guarantee your safety. That is one. Two, Mobe, the issue of Rufai is a clear case of political persecution of the opposition leaders. How can you keep a citizen of Nigeria out of circulation for getting to almost 150 days now, if not more than that? At least from February. I was in court when Madam Rufai was arraigned before Justice Abdul Malik.
Now, prior to this...
Just one minute.
Go ahead.
When, after his arraignment, the counsel on both sides were arguing on when for a return date. The prosecution counsel asked for 10 days, while the defense counsel asked for 2 or 3 days because of the safety of Madam Rufai. Do you know what Justice Abdul Malik did? She adjourned ruling for more than 2 months, from February to April, for more than 2 months. While in another matter that came up, that did not have anything to do with the liberty of Nigeria, she now adjourned to the next week. That is why I said in my introductory speech that before now, what we used to know or hear is that the security agencies are now being used to fight the opposition. Okay, but now it is not the judiciary.
But let's get this, because Madam El Rufai's case, some people are looking at it. They might say it's a peculiar one. Because prior to that time, prior to the interview which he granted on television, he was a free man, even though, yes, there had been brushes here and there. Would hear he was traveling, his passport was taken, or then his passport was released, etc., etc. We've been here of skirmishes like that, but by and large, he was a free man. He was granting an interview on television where he made certain comments which drew the interest of security agencies, and those allegations were quite grievous if you and I were to look at it. But let us keep that on the side, because that seems to be a pretty peculiar situation. We're talking about other instances where members of the opposition would say, we felt harassed by this, or the constitutional rights of our members have been infringed upon by their behavior, by the behavior of those in authority. Can you give other instances?
This issue of Malam Rufai,
yeah,
why I'm placing it on the front burner is so that the international community will know the character of the person that is at the helm of affairs in this country, that is Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that he is persecuting the opposition leaders through the courts. That is unfortunate, because you cannot tell me that a judge will give a condition for bail that the shorty must be a civil servant, and the civil servant must be resident in Maitama, and the civil servant must be the owner of that property and must deposit his title document to the court. What does it tell you? We know how much the value of property in Maitama, Abuja is. How many civil servants today can boast that they have the money to buy property in Maitama, Abuja? Any civil servant that can do that means that the civil servant has stolen money from the federal from government coffers, because we know how much their salaries are, the monthly salaries. So if as a judge you are giving such bail condition, it means that you do not, in the ab initio, intend to release the person on bail that is entitled to bail. And we are saying that who is in charge of all this? The Nigerian people are saying Tinubu does not want any opposition in Nigeria, because he knows how critical Rufai is to the opposition political parties in Nigeria. So asking me to give any other instance is for us to now sweep under the carpet this grievous issue.
We're not sweeping under the carpet. I'm just saying, when you say how critical he is, because let's not forget what he had said in that interview. Just a moment.
At the moment, you said it already. At the moment, by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Malam Rufai is still presumed innocent until proven otherwise.
Oh yes, by all
at the moment,
that's what
he should be treated the way you and I are treated.
That's what the courts. That's how the law in Nigeria is. But if we're to take him at his word as to what he said on television, is it that the opposition is relying on him to continue to listen to conversations for them? Is that what it would be?
This is an allegation.
Nobody, just a moment, nobody is accusing him of that. He was the one who said that. Now he has to now answer to the authorities. And of course, I think the authorities will have to prove as well, whether or not they can find evidence that they're
why they are doing that? Why they are doing that?
Yeah.
Malam Rufai is entitled to his liberty. That is just the point I want to make.
All right.
These constitutional rights were enshrined in our constitution to safeguard some of these excesses by the executive.
All right. I'm not going to take that away from you. Let me quickly take this conversation to Lagos, because I know that Ayo might have a different perspective. Over to you.
Well, thank you, Malkwe. Well, I know that we are running, really running out of time, but let me quickly take you up on this, Mr. Kalu. Talking about the opposition, there are those who believe that opposition in Nigeria, the opposition is Nigeria's opposition is democracy's greatest failure, not the ruling party, for one simple reason. whenever government comes up with one thing or the other, and the opposition thinks Nigerians are going to get the short hand of the stick, the opposition should not only oppose but also offer alternatives. In the past, going to 4 years, it would seem like opposition has been so quiet and waiting only for the election period. And it's only during elections that we are hearing the opposition really say anything that Nigerians can hold on to. So how do you respond to that?
This assertion is not true, because you only advise a man who listens. You don't advise a man who will give a deaf ear to whatever advice you are giving. This current government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not listen to any single advice. None at all. None at all. And you see, all their policies are anti-people. All anti-people.
Is that the reason that the opposition has been quiet?
How will you say the opposition has been quiet? You can't say that. You cannot say that the opposition is quiet. I remember. It was last year that Professor Pat Otomi set up a shadow government. You saw what happened. The opposition unleashed the security agencies on them. So you cannot say that the opposition is quiet. They cannot be quiet. It is what is happening in the nation that informs the strategy the opposition will use to fight the government on those policies that are anti-people. And virtually all the policies of this government are anti-people. Virtually all. Just mention one that is for the good of the people of Nigeria.
Well, one of the things that one can easily reference, if you can, my sincere apologies, because I know that we have to go. One of the things that one would reference, there are a good number of people who would remember that when the PDP was in government in those 16 years, a good number of opposition parties weren't quiet. Anytime any policy came up, they were speaking their mouth, they're at least having their say. And until the opposition at the time, a few of them came together and formed what they now call the APC, and through which they came into power. If Nigerians didn't think that they had a significant alternative opinion or position or initiative about anything, I doubt if Nigerians would have welcomed the APC into power. And so if the opposition right now really does want the APC to do differently, there are Nigerians who are wondering, the noise should not only be get this government out of power, just give us the power without alternatives. Sometimes the opposition is asked specific questions. How are you going to do this differently? And people are not able to listen to or hold on to something significant that the opposition can do better than the current government. So why should Nigerians think that the opposition has better alternatives?
The issue you just raised now is your personal opinion. The Nigerian citizens, as you speak today, have made up their mind to send Bola Ahmed Tinubu back to Lagos by 16th January 2027, because he has failed woefully. Every day, the Nigerian opposition leaders place on the front burner all the anti-government policies, all the anti-people policies by this government. They place it on the front burner. The opposition leaders, they talk about this security in the country. There is no part of this country that has not been engulfed by insecurity. There is corruption everywhere. They place it on the front burner every day. Even the current scam that is going on, is it the presidential foreign whatever. So we in the opposition cannot be accused of keeping quiet. No. Why the present government is keeping Madam Rufai is to shut down any other dissenting voice against their anti-people policy. And nothing again. We are saying it, and as I'm sitting down here, I'm saying it, that this government has failed. This is not the way to govern a nation. corruption everywhere in the country. There's no sector of the economy today that you don't hear of one corruption case or one corruption allegation in the country today. And top government functionaries are being accused openly. And what has happened to them? So the only way Nigerians will tell this government that we have all this information, we are not happy with this information, is at the next election. Just wait and see what Nigerians will do. Nigerians will pay them back in their own coin.
All right, very quickly now, what would you like to see the current government do to ensure that the environment is safer for opposition candidates to campaign safely during this season?
Is to have a fair playing ground for all political parties.
What would that mean?
One, stop using the judiciary against the opposition political parties. Virtually all the opposition political parties are in court today, masterminded by the ruling All Progressives Congress.
Anything else, very quickly?
That's one. Then two, let's have a safe environment. Rejig the security architecture of this country. Because the security issues in this country, the security in this country has gone out of hand. My sister, on Sunday, just 2 days ago, I was attacked.
By who?
Good laws. I was attacked. In fact, it was God that saved my life. Somebody that was close to me was macheted, heavily macheted. And God saved my life. The evidence is there, we've reported, but the deputy governor of Abia State intervened.
It was in the southeast.
Yes. So it has gone to every part of Nigeria. Insecurity. It's every part of the country.
All right. I think that the current party...
And let Mr. President release Rufai. Let him release Rufai. He is the father of the nation today. And one of his citizens is languishing in jail when he is entitled to bail.
All right, Mr. Kalu, legal practitioner and chieftain of the African Democratic Congress, thank you once again for coming on Sunrise Daily. I'm sure that the party in power is certainly listening and perhaps will take action in that regard. Thank you very much for coming on the program.